you owe it to yourself to do that for your children, for your family, to live longer for them. So they don't want to see you in a hospital at 45 years old. You owe it to yourself to be better. Like, we weren't put here to be average.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Rising Father Podcast. I'm Chris Rodack. We have Mark Ferrelli with us today. I'm super excited to talk to him. I've known him for a few years now. He's become one of my best friends, and I think our wives first met, right?
Yeah, I think so, through school.
Yeah, so my wife's a teacher, and then they met, and then they started hanging out. Then we came over to Mark's house during the pandemic. They were one of the few people that would have us over, and then we hung out, had a good time, and I've just begun to know Mark as a guy who's invested in his fitness, invested in being a father. He's like he has a really good business mind. He has businesses, so I'm going to ask him about all this stuff. So in my mind, he's like a true rising father and not done with all of his growth. So welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
You bet. So I've been watching a lot of your social media stuff lately. It's really inspiring. Like, you were going after the weights. So I just want to get right into it. Why should a dad be in shape?
Well, I'll talk about it from my perspective first. For me, fitness has to come first. If I'm not working out or working my body or moving in some way, shape, or form, I feel like everything else it's like a domino effect. If I'm not doing that, the rest of the dominoes just fall. Like, business isn't good. My relationships aren't as good, whether that's at home or friends. So for me, it may sound selfish to some people, but fitness comes first. That's why, you see my posts, I'm there sometimes at 4 in the morning, sometimes at 5 in the morning. Excuse me, I get it done. It's out of the way. I'm there before everybody's out of bed. And B, for me, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. It gives me more energy. It gives me greater focus, greater clarity to get everything done throughout the day. So for me, and I've been working out on and off, been in and out of the gym since I remember riding my bike to the old Gold's Gym in Pleasant Hills when I was 12 years old, when they used to let 12 years old in by themselves. But on and off for, that's 35 years now. So, I've had some ebbs and flows where I didn't work out for a couple of years, and I saw the results. Like, everything else in my life goes off of that. The better I do in fitness, the better the rest of my life does. And now, this past 2 years or so, it's really become my passion. It's really where my life is turning, and so for me, that's what it is.
Why do you think you started going in that direction the last couple of years?
Well, for me, it just gives greater clarity. And I started training. Well, for me, during COVID, it was huge for me. Like, obviously health is important, right? You got to be healthy. And, during COVID, we're not going to get too political here, but, the unhealthy that we're getting sick. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we got to get right.
I could see you holding back.
Yes. Yeah. So in my mind, like, okay, let's get and stay healthy. And then, quite frankly, a buddy of mine asked me to start training him a few months ago now. Very successful guy, but fitness was the one piece of his life that he was kind of not disciplined in, that I was. So he asked me to give him a hand, and that, in my mind, something like there, I'm like, this is really a passion of mine that's literally been in front of me for 35 years, and I never really saw it as that, as a possible business opportunity or, to help others. So that's over the last few years, that's kind of where it evolved to.
And you're getting into now, for your goals with fitness, like, are you trying to, what direction are you leading towards? Is it like bodybuilding competition, or is it like a coaching thing? Like, do you have an end goal? It's okay if you don't, but like, you have to have a goal in mind?
Yeah. I'll talk about this now. I wanted to talk to you about this anyway, because I trust and value your opinion, and because we're friends. this has all kind of evolved like literally over the last 2 weeks for me. Um, two things there. Bodybuilding, I've always wanted to do a show my whole life. I was preparing for a show in my 20s, but I got a shoulder injury, which now that I look back on it, I don't know if that injury was that bad. I think I used that as an excuse to back out. Looking back on it, you know, and I never really had the ego for it. You know, I'm not a guy, regardless of fitness level, to walk around with their shirt off. Like, I don't own a tank top. Like, it's just not me. You know, it's just, so it was always hard for me to, you know, be that guy. But to answer the question,
what was the injury?
It was just a shoulder. I don't know if I ever really got it checked out. It never was like a rotator cuff. Like I said, I think it was in my head, a reason for the back. And I'm just being honest. Yeah. But as far as bodybuilding, I do want to do a show because it's always been on my bucket list and it's something I feel like I need to do. But the second part of that question, as far as the business aspect, like I said, this has all evolved over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to get into some training in person and mostly online training. I've been looking at a few courses to take a look at. And a buddy of mine that I'm training is a very successful businessman. He's given me some ideas and some verticals to go. So this is just the first step on a journey and a long work in progress. But I'm excited, man. I'm really pumped for it.
Sweet. So like some type of online fitness coaching program?
Yep, absolutely. I just,
excellent.
You know, for me, you know, a big part of for me is I love to help people. I mean, I say that genuinely. A lot of people say that. Like, for me, this can fill a lot of buckets. You know, I could obviously help people in fitness, help make their lives better. It helps me help them. So it fills buckets for me. And obviously it'll make me stay in shape as well, right?
So, for sure.
Yeah. So
help keep you accountable.
Yeah. And it's another business vertical. So it fills a lot of buckets all at one time for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know just through Rising Father, I've known so many of the fitness coaches now.
Yeah.
And some people have, a lot of people want to do it well. And there's a few guys who do it really well, who've got the business side down.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that take off and other people who don't. So I'll tell you later, like, who I think is doing it well.
Okay.
And it sounds like you've got your business mentors. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you can get the virtual coaching down, like, that's the way to do it.
I mean, that's where it is, right? Like, yeah, you can be a trainer in the gym, which is fine. Which I'll probably do some of that too. But you're only yourself for 1 hour at a time. There's, at the end of the day, you still make income, right? you can only multiply that so much being in the gym.
Yeah, and you're kind of tied to the hours that you have.
Correct. Yeah, you and I both.
And it's
that doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't work.
No. That's awesome. So the last couple of years you've been focusing on fitness. Was there like someone that kind of inspired you specifically, or was it more like an internal thing? Like, was there, like, I know there's people even at our local gym who are inspirational.
Yeah.
And really big figures. Like, did you look to one of them, or was it more like an internal thing?
For me, it's always been pretty much an internal thing. I've had, training partners in the past, and obviously they help. But for me, it's internal. It's 2 hours a day where, I can just do my thing, not think about anything else, life, the world, just kind of decompress and, anti-stress and get it done. So for me, it's more internal. I do have some, obviously, buddies in the gym, but for me, it's internal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many, and you'll be dealing with this as a coach, but like, why do you think so many guys can't get it together? Like, what stops, a 40-year-old guy who's been out of shape from just taking the first step and getting to the gym?
Well, I think, and for me, like, I think this is where I can help people. You got to look at their whole scope of life, right? Like, for example, my buddy I'm training now, he's very successful in most other areas of his life. So it was kind of easier for him to transfer that into fitness because you already had discipline in other areas, right? So I think you have to look at a case by case level. So if somebody's failing in work, they're miserable at work, miserable at home, it may be harder to get them to the gym and work, or it may be easier because that may be their outlet, right? So I think that's why you need to learn that's on a case by case basis and learn that person's kind of lifestyle and where they're at. But in general, I think it's just where you're at. If you're 400 pounds and need to lose 150 pounds and haven't worked out in 20 years, well, then it's more baby steps, right? Like if you're drinking 6 Cokes a day, start by drinking 5 the next day. Don't try to drink 0. You got to take baby steps. Drink 5 for a week. The next week, drink 4. Go to the gym for 30 minutes and walk on the treadmill and leave. Like, it all depends on where you're at and where you want to go. And now, if you're someone like, just relatively fit, been in and out of the gym, well, they need different levels of coaching, right? You got to find out their motivation too. What's their motivation? Is it just to get in shape? Is it to have a better career? Is it to have a better family life? What's leading them to the gym? Is it just to be healthy? People, you can go there and lift weights and be healthy, or you can just do cardio all day and be healthy. You got to figure out what works on a case by case level. But what's holding people back? I think it all depends on where you're at, but it could be the intimidation factor of getting to the gym, not knowing what you're doing once you're in there, feeling kind of out of place. And I think that's where maybe hiring a trainer could help, or getting a buddy just to lead you through the gym could help. Fear of change. They haven't been in the gym in 10 years. It's fear of change. The ego gets in the way. I used to bench 350, and now I can barely push the bar. It's that fear of not doing what you did before. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of different aspects to that, but I think it's a case-by-case basis, and you need to look internally and figure out why you're not doing it or you can't get there.
So it's like an internal mental thing that people have to deal with, their own issues.
Yeah. And figure out.
That's tough when you get.
Right? Like, why are you going? Why do you want to go? Is it just to be healthy? Do you want to put on 20 pounds of muscle? Are you doing it for your family? Are you doing it, for example, for your kids? Figure out that motivation. I shouldn't say that. I hate that word. Figure out your
motivation.
Yeah. Figure out your discipline. Habit stack too. If you're disciplined in something else, you can transfer that to fitness. Well, you figure out why you're so disciplined in one area and just transfer that over to fitness. There's things you can move over. So,
yeah, it's tough whenever you go to the gym and you see, especially our gym, these massive people,
yes,
walking around. But you don't know if they're on steroids. You don't know how long they've been lifting, like you said, what their motivation is, and like just getting over that internal hurdle is so hard. It's like it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're on your own. You're on your own journey.
That's right.
You're at your own point in the process.
Yeah.
Like they do not matter to you, to your family, to your life. But it's so hard not to compare yourself to people.
Oh yeah, it's very hard. And for me, those big steroid guys. Like I said, I've been out of gyms for a long time. They're some of the nicest dudes in the gym, like most of them. But
yes.
You ask them a question, they'll help you.
I know, but a lot of people are to think, because they make them look inwards, I think.
Right.
that they're super successful with this bodybuilding thing. They must be jerks. They must be meatheads.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys that are super big and ripped like that, like you said, they're always the one to ask you, like, hey, are you done with the machine? Or, sorry, I didn't think you were going to the machine.
Yes.
The guys that aren't, the meathead guys, for me, I think are always like the in-between guys.
I agree.
The ones who aren't in shape, but they've been working out for like 2 or 3 months, and they see their first like half an inch of muscle growth, and then they start wearing the tight shirts and all the tank tops and everything, and then they feel like they're the steroid guys.
I 100%.
So I'm like, oh, I need to act like this. Like those are the meathead guys. The actual meathead guys are the nicest ones.
Yes, 100% agree. And for me, man, when I see somebody very overweight in the gym, it inspires me, man. Like, they're there and they want to be there and they don't care. They're in there getting it done. Like, they're trying to make a change. Like, that inspires me. And oftentimes I'll go up to them and tell them, like, hey, great job. You know what that little one sentence can do for their psyche? You know, just tell them great job. Or,
For sure.
I haven't been here a while. I've seen you. You look great. Like, you look like you lost some weight. Like, that could change their day, change their life, change their week. Like, for me, like, seeing those people in there just inspires the hell out of me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was at North Park a couple of days ago, and it's been like, man, like 90% humidity around here, and there was a very overweight guy walking the lake. Just looked like he jumped in the lake with all his sweat.
Yeah.
And he had one of those weighted vests on.
That's all.
And I'm thinking, hey, maybe that was his first time working out in like 5 years.
Yeah.
He was like, today's the day I'm going to do it. But at the same time, I have no idea where he is on his journey.
Right.
Like I was saying, maybe he's been working out for a year and he was 500
Right.
pounds. So that's me assuming something about him. But
Right.
I saw him and I was like, hell yeah, man! You don't give a shit. Like you're just focused and you know what you want to do, and you're just doing it.
Yeah, I love it. That's the best.
And same thing what you said about just telling someone a simple compliment. Like yesterday night at jiu-jitsu, there was this kid, a small kid who just always off the wall. Just, I don't know, he's probably 6, but never focused, always jumping around. And yesterday he had like the fire in his eyes. He finally found his aggression.
That's awesome.
And he was rolling with someone, and I just gave him a quick pat on the back. I was like, man, good job, keep it up. I was like, I don't care if he's not trying. I was like, man, you do what you're gonna do. And he just went after it. Like it was like he took on the strength of 10 men. He just crushed this kid, threw him to the ground. Before he was just laying on his back like a puppy dog.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is the first time this kid has ever used his aggression. And then like after class was over, I was like, man, that's the way you do it. And he was just like, rah! He was so pumped up.
I love it.
It's amazing.
I love it. Working with kids is great, man. I started coaching my son's deck hockey team last season, I guess you call it. It's awesome. It's just great. Like just seeing the passion in your eyes and how they want to try and do well, and how you can coach others in different ways, another way. It's really cool. And I know you work a lot with kids in jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's great for the kids who want to learn,
Yeah,
the
kids
who want to learn and the kids who are seeing progress,
yeah,
have a good attitude. It's amazing.
Yep.
All right. So we talked about like why guys kind of don't have, is there something culturally right now, we don't have to get political or anything like that, but like something that you see in men nowadays that stops them from becoming, like maybe they're afraid of being aggressive, or they're afraid of being strong and afraid of coming to the front in a leadership role? Is there something that you see like, man, this is different now than it was 10 years ago, this is different now than it was 20 years ago? And we don't have to get super deep on this, but I think it comes around to fitness, and I think it comes
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to answer that without getting a little bit political, because
sorry.
I mean, I'll keep it kind of. I'm sure we agree here, but I think just culturally, men in general have been demasculated. Like, they're not that I'm saying women can't step into a masculine role at times, but they're kind of, the polarity's been leveled out, if that makes sense. There's not this masculine feminine thing like there used to be. And I'm not please don't misguide what I'm saying here. I'm not saying like the wives should be barefoot home cooking and cleaning every day, but like there needs to be a polarity at home. And I just think in general, men, I mean, the demasculinity of men is an epidemic right now. But we're just, I don't know. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but
no, that's okay. This is fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
in the way we raise our boys.
Yeah, and
that's
why I think things like jiu-jitsu and whatever you're going to do with your kid, taekwondo, wrestling, some kind of aggressive physical nature for a young man is of major importance. Major importance.
Mm-hmm.
They need to learn And I'm not saying they learn how to fight. And I've taught my son this when he started jiu-jitsu. This isn't about fighting and beating someone up. This is about protecting yourself and your family. That's why you're doing this. Because there's gonna come a time in your life when you're gonna have to do this. It's gonna happen. So I think we need to raise men with an equal amount of compassion and aggression, if that makes sense. They need to be compassionate to people, but they also need to have aggression when needed, if that makes sense. So
it does. No, I think this is an important thing to talk about because it affects everything. And, I think if guys weren't so kind of demonized and the masculine parts of themselves weren't looked down upon, a lot of the problems the world has right now wouldn't be there.
I agree.
Like if men felt okay being leaders, and some do, but there's a lot of families and a lot of guys who feel or are afraid to truly be themselves, and that stops a lot of good things from happening. It stops them from leading their families. It stops them from leading at work.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys are natural leaders, but have seen the commercials, have heard the people tell them that that's a bad part about them.
Right.
And then you can see that in young boys. Like I know, we both raise our boys to be strong, masculine, not afraid of their aggression,
right,
but to control it. Like we want aggressive. I want my son to be aggressive if he has to be.
Correct.
Yeah. And if he lashes out in some unnatural, dangerous way, you just correct it. And that's why we're fathers, so we can correct that behavior.
That's exactly right.
But if I told him, hey, whenever you're being strong and aggressive and dangerous, that's a bad thing, then I think that would be bad.
Yeah.
But when I see him being a boy, it's fine. Be a boy, just guide it. And then, they're going to screw up. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to occasionally hurt themselves and hurt people. And then you just discipline. To have consequence, discipline, but you don't stop the whole thing from happening.
Right. I agree. And, culturally, it's an issue too, right? With kids just being planted in front of screens all day as well. And I'm not saying my wife and I are perfect by all means. I mean, we're beginners some days where they got to watch TV for an hour so we can get things done. But
my kids are watching TV right now.
In general, it's an epidemic, man. And what's on TV, we don't know. And it's 95% of it's garbage. And if you look at, some of these shows that are on and even music, some music nowadays, if you really pay attention to the lyrics, it's not, it's about, a lot of it's about being a weak man. So it just, like you said, it's about discipline and spending quality time with your kids and being present with your kids as well. And I struggle with that too, because a lot of times, I got a couple businesses, I got a lot of work to do, and there's times where I struggle too. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but man, it doesn't take perfect. You just got to be there, And I talked about this before, the way this generation right now, man, if you do a good job with their kids, they're gonna have a great life. They're gonna have a great life because the competition is thin. Let's just put it that way.
That's the competition is very thin. I think about our kids, for what we do for them and how much time we spend with them and the things we give to them. They're gonna dominate when they're older.
Absolutely.
And I mean that's
right. And
if you're a dad,
that's the goal. I want them to dominate in everything they do.
Yeah.
I want them to crush their competition. I'll tell you a little story. We had a deck hockey game, and I was the assistant coach, I guess. And they have there's an 8-goal rule. If you're up by 8, the game's over, right? Well, we were up by 6. It was only the second period, and the coach was like, "All right, guys, settle down. We want to get." It was only the fourth game. We want to get everybody some playing time. And I looked at him. I said, "No." If they're going to score, they're going to score. They can play next game. This game's going to be over. We're not going to teach them not to score. That's not the goal in hockey. The goal in hockey is to score. So he was just, and we had a little conversation afterwards. I said, "Listen, man, I know where you were going with that. You wanted to give them playing time, but that's the wrong message. you're telling them not to do.
Yeah.
They're on the field or they're on the ice to do the court to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you want more playing time, you got to get your butt practicing.
yeah, exactly.
Like whenever I was younger, I don't know, 8 to 10, kids in my grade, there were a lot of kids who were way better at me than basketball. I was like not super. I had brothers that I wrestled and stuff with, so I had that kind of coordination. But
yeah,
like playing basketball, we never played basketball whenever I was that age. But my best friends were super good at basketball, and they would kick my ass all the time. And guess what? I didn't get put into play, so I started jogging to the basketball court and practicing hours and hours and hours a day until the point where I could hang with them and play and start with them on the team. So like if I wasn't motivated in that way, I would still suck.
Right.
You know, and I wouldn't be able to teach my kids how to play basketball now. I wouldn't be able to have fun with adults now.
Right.
But had someone say, "Hey, oh, Chris, it's okay. You can't play. Everyone's different. Here's a ball. You know, you can start with the other guys." That would not have helped me one bit.
No. Or getting a 13th place trophy either. That wouldn't have helped you one bit.
Yeah. No. And the kids hate that. They really do.
I don't know when or
like I
started, but it's a terrible idea. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, my kids tell me even when they go to those sports camps, before they go, I think last year, Nathan was like, "Oh, this isn't one of those places where everyone's going to get a trophy, is it?" I was like, "I don't think so."
That's great.
I was like, "And if it is, I'm sorry, but I don't think it is."
He's aware of that though already. Like, it should be.
Yeah.
Like, strive to do better and get the real trophy next time.
Mm-hmm. And when they do tournaments like hockey tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments, like they want to earn the thing. Like Nathan was supposed to do a jiu-jitsu tournament this weekend, but there's 0 people signed up in his division. So if one person signs up, then he'll go and either get gold or silver.
Right.
So I woke him up last night. I was like, "What do you want to do? Because this is the deadline.
Yeah.
I have to sign you up today or can't." He's like, "Well, let's not do this one." He said, "Let's just wait until the next one because I want to actually go against people." I was like, "Thank you."
Yes.
Good.
That's awesome.
I don't want to pay $120, take you to a weekend, have them for this, 50-cent gold medal so you feel good.
Right. Right.
That's basically what it is. Me paying $120 for this dollar store medal.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. But I'm glad that he's starting to get that attitude. I think both of our kids have that kind of mindset.
For sure, man. At a young age, it's vitally important. I mean, I didn't get it that young, that's for sure. I'm not saying my parents did the best they could do, but yeah, I didn't get that at this age. And I think it's awareness on our part as dads to instill that in them now. That just can
for sure
benefit them down the road.
You talked about your business experience a little bit. Can you fill us in a little bit on your business experience? Like, what businesses do you run right now? What took you there?
Yeah, so growing up, pretty much every male in my family was police, fire, paramedic, some military, pretty much all of them. And then here I am. I joined the fire department at 15 as a junior firefighter, and because I thought that's what I had to do, right? And when it was time at 16 to become sworn in, I told my dad, I was scared to death right at this conversation. I'm like, "Listen, I don't want to be a firefighter." He's like, and I was scared to death. I thought that's, that was in our bloodline, right? And he's like,
mm-hmm.
"Well, then don't do it. Like, you don't have to do this." So that conversation right there kind of changed everything for me. Like, that I didn't have to fill the family role. I always kind of had that entrepreneurship bug, I guess, so to speak. Like, I never really liked school. I just wanted to work. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do is just work. Like, I want to go work and make money. So I finished high school, and then I was working at a pizzeria, and the guys knew my ambition and what I wanted to do, so I franchised a pizza shop off of them. I think I was 19, 20 years old. So that was kind of my first business experience. I had that for about 3 years. It was fun. I learned a lot about what to do and more about what not to do. That's for sure. Got burnt out a little.
Pizza shop.
Yeah. Got burnt out a little bit because, at that age, I would, work till 10, 11, 12, and I'd go out with my buddies till 3, 4 in the morning. And sleep 3 or 4 hours, wake up and do it all over again. So
Sounds like a good time
yeah,
though.
oh, it was, man, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I sold that back to them and didn't know what to schools, didn't know what to do. So I went to a business school, which was a complete joke. It was one of those 16-month programs, just a complete joke.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew everything they were trying to. I just got 3 years of experience on doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So I still don't, now that I talk about this, I still don't know if I ever got a degree from that because I had to go do an internship. It was downtown at some marketing agency. And
Is this one of those scam schools that they're refunding tuition for right
yeah,
now?
I get. And the fifth day was a Friday, and I'm like, I'm leaving. The lady's like, "What do you mean you're leaving?" I said, "I cannot. Like, I can't be in an office. Like, it's just not." She's like, "You might
Yeah.
get your degree." I said, "I don't care," and I walked out the door. So yeah, from then I went back into the restaurant industry, worked for the Cracker Barrel, and then business I have now, I distribute wine and liquor for bars, restaurants, hotels. I started with a buddy of mine. That didn't work out. Went on my own. I've been doing that for about 14 years. Yeah, 15th year this year, I think. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Still in the restaurant industry. I opened a diner with my cousin in 2015. Had that for a couple years. She still has it. And then during the pandemic, kind of had a spiritual awakening. So started an apparel line, which is kind of on the back burner right now. But now that I'm looking back at that, at the time, it gave me something to do, to keep my mind
Mm-hmm.
off of things because
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic shut my main business down, and to see your income go to zero was a little tough. So
Mm-hmm.
they kind of gave me something to do and spread a good message. So yeah, a little bit of experience, and like I said, I kind of have the bug and like to do my own thing. So I was never fit for the corporate role. Like I hear my wife,
Mm.
tell these stories about her work and the issues she has. I'm like, I wouldn't last one day, not one day there. So, but hey, I mean, it works for some people. Listen, like I'm not saying you got to go out and do your own thing. Like there's some people they call them entrepreneurs, right? Like they're inside of an organization, but they kind of do their own thing. That organization respects their work and their value and
Yeah.
beliefs. So I'm not saying that's a great thing. If you can do that and be happy, that's awesome. There's a lot of people that do that. They're not.
Yeah. As long as you're fulfilled,
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. But if you're miserable,
like as
man,
long as you feel good.
if you're miserable, get out. There's opportunity. It's 2022, man. There's opportunities everywhere, everywhere. Like I don't. It's hard for me to wrap my head around people that stay in a miserable place at this time we're in right now. Because there's just, I mean, if you look at things through an abundant mindset, like there's money everywhere to be made if you look around. You know, especially if you have a family, if you are a dad, like you need excess income. You know, for your family, for your kids. Like we talk about these sports we do with our kids. That stuff's not cheap. It's not cheap. So yeah, if the message I can have, like not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. Be an entrepreneur. Find what you love doing and work hard for your company you're in. And if you're not happy, get out. Like get out. Do something else.
Yeah. There's so much great stuff you said.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people who are fulfilled doing any type of job. Like it's if you are on social media and you follow a lot of business people, you might think, if I'm not a business owner, I'll never be happy. But that's not the right message. It's because for us and for anyone, like you're always kind of chasing, that inner satisfaction, that inner fulfillment of, this is what I'm meant to do. This is my mission.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel that way about being an accountant, being an engineer, a teacher, anything, like you should not leave that. You should continue to do that because like going to sleep at night with a clear head and waking up happy is the goal. That's one of the goals. That's
Bingo.
like if you can get to that point, then stay there.
Yep.
And if you are trying to make money, extra money for your family, like just think, what am I buying every day? I could be the one selling that.
Yeah.
All this stuff I'm buying on Amazon, all these people on social media that I'm following and buying their courses and doing, like, I could be on the other end of that.
Right.
Like, there is money everywhere. I'm just giving it all away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be taking all the money.
Exactly right.
Everyone that I interact with that I'm handing money to, I could create something where some people are handing me money.
Right. That's exactly right. And invest in yourself, man. Like, you owe it to yourself to invest in yourself. And I'm not necessarily talking about money either. Like we talked about before, it's fitness. You owe it to yourself to be healthy. You know, you owe it to yourself to do that for your children, for your family, to live longer for them. So they don't want to see you in a hospital at 45 years old. You owe it to yourself to be better. Like, we weren't put here to be average. We were not put on this earth to be average. And everybody, if you really sit down and think about it, we all know this internally. Some people settle and fall into that disbelief, but in the other end of it, invest in yourself monetarily too. Like, and I'm just talking about a book or a podcast. Some of that stuff doesn't even cost money. Like, invest in self-help and growth mindset. And then you keep going, then you invest in some courses for a couple $100,000 and learn some new things. Sometimes they don't work. I've invested a ton of money in things that didn't work out. I just look at it as a learning experience. So what? I take the pieces that I learned from it and go to something else. So.
Yeah, I mean, I look at what I've done the past 5-6 years, tried a bunch of things. And same thing with me, like we were building a real estate ad agency, and the pandemic, we lost every single client, went to zero.
Yeah.
That was taking off, and I don't look at that as a waste. And there's other things I've done even this past year where I've invested thousands of dollars, lost money on it. I don't look at it like nothing. For me, I'm like, man, what if I did nothing over the past 5 to 6 years? Who would I be right now? Like, I can just have regular conversations with people about online marketing, branding, online business. Like, and then you think about, like, man, I know a lot, like, because I've just been going after it.
Right.
Even if things don't work out.
Right.
Like, you keep, like you said, you keep on investing in yourself, and you're going to learn things.
Absolutely.
And like you're talking about your fitness coaching business, like that could be your thing.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe if the last 2 years or whatever you had done things differently, it wouldn't have led you to where you are right now.
That's exactly right. That's why you hit the nail on the head there. That's why I don't say that I don't, but I do my best not to regret anything, because you don't know the ripple effect down the road that it has. Like, that happened down over there for a reason to get to here. Like,
mm-hmm. And you talked about guys settling, and I had that specifically written down for you, because you're not 22, but you're also not settling in any way.
Right.
Why? Like, some guys hit cruise control once they get to a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 35. My God, 35-year-olds can either look like they're 18 and ripped, or they can look like they're 75 and about to die.
Yes. That's right.
Like, why? There's a bunch of questions here, but why do some guys feel like, I hit this age, it's settling time?
Again, I think that goes back to society and what we're being fed on a daily basis. It's the norm, the dad bod, the cliche of, get married, happy wife, happy life, have kids, get fat. I think it's just the way the programming is being done in society, honestly. And a lot of guys just fall trapped to that, unfortunately. And like you said, hit cruise control. And I'll be honest with you, in my business before the pandemic, I think the pandemic happened for me for several reasons, but one of it was for me to learn more about my business, because in my business life, I was on cruise control. Like, I was at a certain money amount, I was making good money, like, things were great, I was just cruising. Like, whenever everything shut down, it was a big wake-up call. And maybe for a lot of dads out there, it's going to take a health crisis, a financial crisis, a health crisis with one of your kids or your wife or your girlfriend for them to snap out of that cruise control mentality, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's kind of like I know what you're saying. And some guys just never, unfortunately, some guys never make it. Some guys never get that moment and they change things around. Like there's the thought that things are the way they should be. Things happen for a reason, fate and all that. And to a point, I agree with all that. But also, there's a lot of people who just die out of shape, not fulfilled, unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Like, so you, at some point, you have to take things into your own hands and, say, this is what I want, because guess what? I'm a year older, 10 years from now, and hopefully I make it to 10 years from now. It's going to be 10 years later. What if I don't have that wake-up call before then?
Right.
Then I'm just 10 years more of what I'm doing right now. 10 years more unsuccessful.
Right.
And things don't always end up well for people. So for me, it's like, yeah, if I don't do something right now to fix what I want, the universe isn't just going to come and hand me something. Like you talk about motivation. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to sit in my room and wait for motivation to strike me like lightning.
Right.
Like, if I want my life to be different,
right,
I have to actually do something about it right now.
Yes.
Because if I don't, it may never come.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm glad you brought up the universe and stuff, because I do believe in that. I believe in a lot of attraction in the universe. But you just hit the nail on the head. The universe loves speed. Like, you can't sit there and try to manifest money and then go sit on the couch and watch TV for 8 hours a day. That's not how it works. The universe loves speed and action. That's how you get it. You can't just sit there and try to manifest and do nothing. And for me, like, don't get me wrong, I'm far from perfect. I have my bad days. And yesterday I was just completely exhausted for some reason. I ended up taking a 30-minute power nap in the middle of the afternoon. I still felt tired. And I'm like, it was getting kind of late in the afternoon. For me, what helps me is I just go. Like, just go. Once I start doing something, and then the energy comes back, then it just flows into other things. The next thing I know, I'm still sitting here at 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock before dinner and still working. And I felt much better. Now, could I have sat in front of the TV because I was tired? Sure. But that's not getting me any closer to my goals. Not one bit. And like I said, I'm not saying it because I'm perfect. I'm just trying to, what works for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could have just, like you said, sat around and thought, this isn't my time right now.
Right.
I'll see it. I'll see the moment when it comes.
Yeah.
And when that comes, I'll act.
And I'll be honest with you, there are days or half a days where I do pack it in. Like, I'm not feeling it, I have those days sometimes. I think it's natural to do it. Some days you just got to sit in it. But you can't have those days over and over and over again and expect to reach your goals.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point you just got to buck up and accept that it's gonna suck a little bit.
Yeah.
James Clear's quote I love from his book Atomic Habits.
Great book.
He said, might say it wrong. He said, amateurs let life get in the way, professionals stick to a schedule.
I love it.
And that's just, it's like, so many people say, life got in the way, I couldn't get to this.
Yeah. It's
like, well, is it something you do or is it something you don't
do?
Like, I love getting joy in the things I do daily. Like this podcast, talking to you. Mm-hmm. It's fun for me, but there's also things I have to do for the business I'm trying to grow that aren't fun.
Right.
And guess what? I still have to do them. I can't only do the fun things.
Well, 9 times out of 10, that's where the growth is, right? I mean, it's doing things that suck, that you don't want to do. That's where the growth is. So.
Yeah. It's whenever it's working out, whenever it's freezing cold outside.
Right. Or the days that you're not feeling it and you go anyway. For me, that's like normally when I have my best workouts. Like when I'm really not feeling like going, I get in there and I'll have like the best workout of the week. Yeah. It's crazy how that works.
And you guys have done, I know you and your wife have done 75 hard like multiple times. Yeah. Do you feel like that's helped you in that area?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Because you're doing 2 workouts a day for 75 consecutive days. And or else you fail and have to start over. And believe me. And coincidentally enough, like we've always done it in the winter. I don't know if it's psychologically I want to Want it to be harder? Or
Just to make it harder.
you're doing a walk when it's 5 below outside and snow, and it sucks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Still doing it. So
Yeah, we'll try that at some point.
yeah,
We're would a jiu-jitsu session count as a workout?
it would count as an indoor workout. Yeah, not an
Okay.
outdoor. I mean, I'm pretty sure you sweat enough. It's a good workout.
Yeah. No, I did it twice. Jiu-jitsu twice yesterday. Went to 12, went to 6:30.
Nice.
And you get, oh my God, you get so sweaty. And for me, I hate jogging.
Yeah,
Like I really don't like running. I admire the people that I do, and I see these people jogging around the lake, and I'm always like, man, good for them. I should start jogging. And I'm like, wait a second, you do jiu-jitsu, don't jog.
Yeah.
That's your cardio.
Yeah, this guy's. I'm not. Unless I'm getting chased or chasing someone else, I'm not running anywhere.
Yeah, I could probably use some like sprinting. I should probably sprint. I just feel like being able to move fast is good. But I've been doing the knees over toes program. Was doing it for 6 months straight. You know that guy, knees over toes guy?
Yeah. I did an exercise of his this morning at the gym, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was on Rogan and everything. But like before my surgery, I did it for 6 months straight. And tell you what, I was jumping pretty high.
Really?
Like, not to brag, yeah. But I was jumping pretty high. And I felt really good. Except one time I was at the park with my family. And I was feeling so confident, so strong. I jumped up. This is after like 6 months of doing it. I jumped up really high, tried to grab the top of this swing set, and I did, but only like the tips of my fingers reached it, and I stuck on, and then my legs flint out in front of me, and I landed on my ass in front of like 100 parents. And then, of course, Nathan was laughing at me, and Sarah's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine." But I was feeling a little too confident. And then I stopped it over when I had my surgery. I stopped it, and then I've been doing it for the past month and feels so good.
Awesome.
I'm trying to. There's not a lot of weightlifting with this. It's more like just like being able to be athletic. Yeah. So I'm trying to do that with my legs.
Nice.
But yeah, I love that.
I think it's funny. It's great how he kind of reversed the science behind that, right? Like, I mean, I'm 47. When I started training, it was never knees over toes, ever. You know, like,
yeah.
And he just completely reversed the science. And didn't he like heal himself from terrible knees or something like that?
That's what he says. Yeah, his story is that he had all these knee operations and issues with his legs to where he could barely function.
Wow.
And then he started doing these exercises, and now you watch videos of him, he can like dunk and do all kind of crazy stuff.
Insane.
Yeah. That's my goal for next year. By next year I want to be able to dunk.
Dunk from the sitting.
Which is meaning me having to make severe progress with my vertical. So it's just a goal. If I can't dunk, I'll be able to jump really high.
I'm 5'6", brother. I don't know if any knees over toes.
Like Muggsy Bogues.
I need a trampoline down there somewhere.
If you can learn how to dunk, then you need to stop everything and start a dunking program.
Exactly. That's funny.
It'd be very motivational.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a workout question. Well, how do you feel about HIIT training? Like Mike Mentzer, do you know anything about that?
I love it. I don't do it often, but I do incorporate it here and there. Mm-hmm. I think it's extremely effective. It's relatively short, and the results are good. Like, and you can do. There's so many different variations you can do too. It's kind of fun, right? You can get a lot of stuff done in 20 minutes and burn a ton of calories. I've actually been doing it. I do the Stairmaster for cardio, so I've actually been doing it on there. Like I'll like speed up for a minute, and then slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. And I've noticed calories I burned are like 30% higher just from doing that. And I did some of that on 75 hard too on the outside. I bought because you get tired of walking, like the weighted vest and whatnot, right? So we bought just a bike to pull out in the driveway and ride. So I would ride the bike real hard for like 5 minutes, get off, jump rope, medicine ball, jumping jacks, back on the bike. And it was effective. It was really effective. I like it.
Yeah, I've been trying to do my upper body weight training over the past month with that because it's not as you're not at the gym
Yeah,
every single day.
exactly.
And I felt just because I'm still recovering with my freaking
For
shoulder,
sure.
like when I was going every single day, it would just be constantly
Yeah,
sore, and I felt like I was backtracking.
yeah,
But now that I'm at the gym less, doing it way slower, lifting way slower than I was before.
yeah.
Like I'm still as sore as I was before, like my upper body and chest and stuff, but I feel like my shoulder is more mobile and stretchy,
Oh, good,
which is the goal for me.
good.
Yeah.
And
So
every body is different, right? Like people have to find out what works for them. Like HIIT training may be great for somebody and may not be good for somebody else. Lifting heavy weights may
yeah,
be great for some person and not great for somebody else. I think it's good to experiment, figure out A, what you like. That'll get you to the gym faster if you do like doing it, and B, what works for you. And everybody responds to food differently, weights differently, cardio differently. I think it's important just to experiment on things.
yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is it's not as fun to lift. Like I love just pumping out some dumbbell
Yeah,
presses.
yeah,
Seeing your weight increase and doing all that.
Yep.
This way is just like painful.
yeah,
Going to max effort, you're supposed to stop whenever you can't even do one
Yeah.
more rep and all that.
for sure.
Which I also like that feeling, but it's also just fun to just watch your weight go up with the dumbbell presses and all that.
Absolutely.
Kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we can wrap this bad boy up. It's been
Awesome, man.
a pleasure talking to you. It's awesome we were able to have you on.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything you want to tell people about, to find you for any social media, anything like that?
It's at Instagram's @ Mark Ferrelli. Facebook's Mark Ferrelli. Yeah, pretty much my name everywhere. This New Day Apparel, if you want to look at some apparel that I have, is Christian-based clothing line. And yeah, look for some online training coming soon. Look for that. But, also,
I'm excited.
Yeah, This New Day podcast, which I'll have you on here shortly. So
Sweet.
yeah, talk a lot about growth mindset there and how we can help people through faith in God, gratitude, and giving. So I'm looking forward to having you on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need you to send me a ripped photo of you that I could use as a cover for my YouTube thumbnail.
All right, I'll do that.
It's gonna go right in the center.
I'll do that.
And then I got to get a good title for this one.
I'll do that.
All right, man. Thank you, and I look forward to being on your podcast.
Yeah, man. Love it. Thank you.
All right, see everybody.
Bye-bye.